Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
Well, it's great to have you with us here on this special edition of 4 News Now. I'm Jordan Smith, and we're less than 24 hours away from one of Spokane's biggest events, Bloomsday. Everybody has been watching the weather leading into this weekend, so right away, we'll send things over to meteorologist Matt Gray. And Matt, what do those running conditions look like for those bloomies?
Well, I got to say, things are still looking pretty good. And hey, this year with some of that warmer weather, things are actually blooming around here on Bloomsday. So that's nice to see as you're running around tomorrow. Lineup time in the 40s will begin to warm up into the 50s as we head towards the start time for joggers. And then the walking folks, as we head towards 11 o'clock, will be already in the mid 50s. We're not going to be all that warm tomorrow, only expecting low 60s for highs. A little bit of sun will peek through from time to time, but really we're talking about mostly cloudy skies for the race. So overall, these temperatures actually fairly typical for Bloomsday conditions. Now, it is going to be a little on the humid side, especially after all the rain the last couple of days. It's rained 13 times over the history of Bloomsday. And even though it's not expected to rain for tomorrow, rain is not going to be all that far away. In fact, it has been raining a good portion of the day around Coeur d'Alene, and especially in northern Kootenai County, into Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, and in the northeast corner of Washington. And we are actually stacking up quite a bit. Look at Newport. Radar estimated over 3/10 of an inch of rain so far today. So that will have some consequences as we head later on into the week. In fact, you can see a little shower right there peeking through in Coeur d'Alene. Mostly, though, a lot of us going to be staying dry as you have plans for this evening with temperatures in the 50s. Coming up, I'll show you what's going on for the rest of Sunday and a lot of changes coming up in next week's forecast.
We're looking forward to it, Matt. Thanks for that. And as we said, just one day away from Bloomsday, tens of thousands of people are hitting the streets tomorrow to participate in this rich Spokane tradition. And as we count down the hours until the race, time is ticking to get prepared for tomorrow's events. From parking to carbo loading, our Bronte Sorotsky has everything you need to know to prepare for Bloomsday.
Well, we are just a day away from Bloomsday, and already there are signs like these up on the parking meters letting people know where they can and cannot park, because soon these roads will be filled with bloomies getting ready to take on the race.
A lot of people, a lot of good energy, and I just hope everybody has a great race tomorrow.
Racers are gearing up to either walk, jog, or fully run the Bloomsday course. With all that excitement for this year's race, you'll need to remember that if you plan to participate on Sunday, be sure to plan ahead.
It's traditionally a carbo load, so if you take a look at all the different restaurants around Spokane, most of them are going to have some specials going on.
And some say that preparation starts with food, whether you carbo load or not.
You know, a good meal, a good healthy meal. I don't do a lot of carbo loading before, a little bit, but I don't want to feel too heavy the day of. Just drinking lots of water today.
With multiple construction projects going on downtown, Bloomsday organizers urge bloomies to leave their homes early to find good parking ahead of the race.
Park over at Gonzaga University, up by the arena, up by LC. Get as far away from the core as you can. The closer in you are, the longer the lines are going to be when you go to leave.
And SPD is reminding the public that any cars parked along the route could be towed starting at midnight on Sunday. Red signs have already been placed on parking meters along the race route downtown, warning drivers. Plus, for safety, backpacks will not be allowed and all bags will have to be clear. Organizers say to pack light. Reporting in Spokane, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Some good information there, Bronte. Thanks. And we'll turn now to some breaking news out of Allen, Texas, where several law enforcement agencies are responding to a deadly shooting at an Allen outlet mall late this afternoon. The Collin County Sheriff told WFAA that there are multiple victims, including children. The sheriff also confirmed that the shooter is dead at the scene. According to reports, the shooting occurred around 3:30 p.m. at the Allen Premium Outlets. The city of Allen issued a public safety alert warning residents to stay away from that area. Very few details have been released so far, but ATF Dallas said it was a, quote, active shooter incident, something we'll be keeping an eye on and trying to get you more information as the show goes on here. And closer to home here, a motorcyclist was killed in a fatal crash in Spokane Valley late this morning. That crash happened on Dishman-Micah and 8th Avenue. Investigators say the motorcyclist was traveling north on Dishman-Micah at a speed faster than the posted limit when it struck a car traveling southbound on Dishman-Micah that was trying to turn left onto 8th Avenue there. The name of that motorcyclist has not yet been released, and this does remain an active investigation. To the Moscow murder case here tonight, attorneys representing Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of those murders, believe the prosecutors have not turned over evidence that could clear him. His attorneys filing a motion asking the court to force prosecutors to turn over the materials they requested months ago as a part of the standard discovery process. They say they have not received body cam and dash cam video from Kohberger's arrest in Pennsylvania. They also say they haven't received copies of lab reports detailing the forensic evidence collection and analysis of items recovered at Kohberger's parents' home, trash can, and his car. The attorneys did not go into further detail about what they believe those reports contain. For more information at what other evidence the defense says they're missing and why one of Kohberger's hearings scheduled for later this month was canceled, you can find this story on KXLY.com. Well, for the first time in 70 years, the UK has a new monarch. King Charles III was formally crowned during a coronation ceremony earlier today. Members of the royal family, world leaders, and the rest of the world watching.
God save the king!
And you can see that moment. King Charles is crowned as this new reign begins. The once-in-a-generation event shared by thousands who turned up in person. You can see the crowds gathering there, standing shoulder to shoulder, packed in just to witness this rare moment. As we said, this coronation, the first in 70 years, the monarch formerly headed by Queen Elizabeth. And members of the Red Arrow flying up ahead as this new chapter begins in the UK. Still much more ahead here on the special edition of 4 News Now. It's graduation season, and no two education journeys are the same. One man collecting his degree at 70 years old. That story of perseverance coming up. Plus, a bacterial contamination is forcing a recall for at-home COVID tests. What you need to know after the break.
And it's springtime, and that means we've got a little bit of everything in the forecast. We've got dry weather when we need it. We've got thunderstorms, and we've got more toasty temperatures on the way. A lot for us to talk about, including more on your Bloomsday forecast in just a few minutes.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
Looking for some fun? Then come play for the day at the Coeur d'Alene Casino and discover new ways to win big inside the new Discovery Den, the first and only video game testing room in the U.S. with many of the top manufacturers in the world under one roof, where you get to play them first and decide which games stay and which ones don't. You will set the trends for the future of gaming, only at the Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Welcome home.
Family is just very important.
She's my sister, and we depend on each other a lot.
She's the rock of the family. She's the person who holds everything together.
It's a battle, I'm gonna be there.
Keytruda and chemotherapy been treating my cancer with 2 different types of medicine.
In a clinical trial, Keytruda and chemotherapy was proven to help people live longer than chemotherapy alone. Keytruda is used to treat more patients with advanced lung cancer than any other immunotherapy. Keytruda may be used with certain chemotherapies as your first treatment. If you have advanced non-squamous, non-small cell lung cancer and you do not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, severe nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, fever, rash, itching, or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems. If you've had or plan to have an organ or stem cell transplant, receive chest radiation, or have a nervous system problem.
It feels good to be here for them.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda.
Welcome back. This weekend kicks off graduation season as students across the state embark onto their next chapter. Washington State University held theirs earlier this morning, and you can see Beasley Coliseum is packed with students and families as graduates get their name called. We have quite a few ceremonies taking place with each coming week between the colleges and high schools in our area. For a complete schedule on the dates and times, find this story on our website, KXLY.com. And graduations are happening all across the country, and no two education journeys are ever the same. For one student in Maine, his commencement is a journey 52 years in the making. Here's Tom Krosnowski with the story of perseverance.
Why does this work and how does it work? It's just, I love it.
One University of Maine graduate this year began his collegiate journey well before the rest of the class of 2023 was born. John Cyrus is 70 years old and has earned an undergraduate degree in microbiology.
I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm going to actually get that diploma. It's actually finding. And it's kind of cool, too, is that my oldest granddaughter graduates from Lawrence this year.
I think it was his passion for science that brought him here at this age.
I love being, problem solving and doing things like that. I just loved it.
Cyrus's journey to get here has seen plenty of starts and stops. He was set to attend Rutgers University in 1971, but a serious car crash left him unable to attend.
My atlas bone had fractured and I should have been dead.
When he recovered, he was drafted into the Vietnam War and served as an Air Force lab tech. By 1976, he was just 9 credits away from graduating. But then
I had a lab accident and came down with mono and had to drop out. Well, I never got around to getting back.
After a career spent in labs and at the J Paper Mill, Cyrus retired in 2012 and needed something to do.
And I got to thinking, gee, I'd like to go back, I've got time now. Why don't I go back to school? Being back in the lab, the lab has always been my first love.
He's certainly made an impression on his younger classmates.
John is an interesting guy. He's a very nice guy. He just keeps on going. He's really driven. He loves what he's doing, and it really shows just in how he acts and how he's enthusiastic about what he's doing in our lab.
Cyrus's academic journey isn't stopping here.
I've been accepted to grad school here, so I'm working for my PhD after this for, which I'll have probably when I'm 75. So.
As for lessons learned,
find the time, make the time. Work and stuff is always there. But just to be able to go out and enjoy life and enjoy the world around you, experience some of the beauty. Just go out there and live.
Advice fit for a commencement speech. Reporting from Orono, Tom Krosnowski, WABI TV5 News.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Cool story there, right?
Yeah. You are never too old to get some stuff done. Certainly that applies to lots of activities that we have around the inland Northwest. Certainly folks of all ages going to be going out for Bloomsday tomorrow. And yeah, surprising enough, with how this radar picture looks across the Northwest, we are expecting dry conditions for the race as we kick off your Sunday. And that's because things are gradually going to start to calm down through the overnight hours, but not everywhere is going to be rain-free as we go through the back half of the weekend. Just like we have seen basically all day today and most of the day yesterday, we continue to see rain in northern Kootenai County, Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, and then as far out as places like Colville along the north to the Canada border in northeastern Washington. And so here we go at 7 in the morning. We'll still have some of those showers lingering around. Could we see 1, 2 little sprinkles? Sometimes you look up and you go, whoa, did it rain or was it just me? Might have some of that in Spokane for the start of the race. But overall, I expect things to stay fairly dry. Now, as we get into the afternoon, you can see same areas, especially in the Panhandle, starting to see a little bit heavier rain. Might even hear a few rumbles of thunder in this fairly unstable and mixed up atmosphere that's sitting overhead. As we head into the evening, things begin to fade out. But hey, we'll be back into thunderstorm mode as we go into the start of the weekend with all the rain and with all of the issues that we have seen With melting snow and the warm temperatures from last week, lots of flood alerts around the region, especially in Ferry and Okanagan counties. And we continue to watch this flood warning in the St. Mary's area. We've got an update for you for you folks in St. Mary's. The St. Joe River now expected to crest a little bit lower than what we thought yesterday. We were thinking it was going to be up around 33 feet, instead 32.5, and it's going to really start to come down even on Sunday night. So that is a positive development there in the St. Mary's area. We'll keep an eye on other river levels, and you can take a look at weather alerts at KXLY.com as well. Here are your lows: 45 in Spokane and for Coeur d'Alene tonight. So it is going to be on the milder side as we start the day. Probably a little bit humid as well after all the wet conditions. And then in the low 60s, just a degree or 3 below average. And those nice temperatures right there during peak time for Bloomsday. A couple of warmer spots that we expect: 69 for Moses Lake and in the LC Valley area, 70 in Grand Coulee. Boy, that's going to be small potatoes compared to what we've got coming up later in the week. So a little system hangs out for us for the beginning of this upcoming week, and that means some thunderstorms in the forecast. And then look what happens here as we head into next weekend. If you really love that warm weather that we saw last week, oh, this is for you. That's right, 70s and then 80s by the time we get to next Saturday.
80s again, Matt. That's awesome. Well, and once the skies do clear up and the weather will be perfect, you can go grab your bike and your helmet for a bike ride. In this week's Air 4 Adventure, we're heading down to the Palouse to give you a bird's eye view of one of the most picturesque bike rides you'll ever take. Let's take a ride on the Air 4 drone.
Spokane Bicycle Club. We lead rides almost every day of the week. Some of the rides are, real just social rides at a leisurely pace. Some of the rides are swifter and have rides that can accommodate all riding styles. We're heading out down to the Palouse Highway, and we're going to stay on the highway down to Rockford. Then we're coming back up along the Valley Chapel Road, and there are a few different options, so a lot of times, the group will kind of say, well, let's try this, let's try that. It'll be about a 40-mile loop. Originally I did it just kind of for transportation, commuting, and I retired a few years ago, and now it's just strictly pleasure and fitness and being outside, and also meeting and riding with other people with similar interests.
Palouse has rolling hills, and oftentimes you will get into rollers on the highway or on side roads. We call it the Moulter Road Rollers because in a 2-mile stretch there's about 7 or 8 little humps. Remember how when you were a kid, your dad would get on a gravel road and he'd gut it a little bit, and you'd go over those rollers, you'd come out off that doesn't happen on a bike, of course, but you get that sense of the roller coaster ride in a way.
Gorgeous place. Any time of year, it's just beautiful.
Certainly picturesque there. Tonight, the FDA is warning of some at-home COVID tests that should be thrown out because of concerns of bacterial contamination in the liquid solution. The warning involves certain lots of SD Biosensors pilot COVID-19 at-home tests, which have been recalled. They were distributed by Roche Diagnostics. The FDA says roughly 500,000 were distributed to CVS and another 16,000 were distributed to Amazon, but the agency says that none of the testing kits were distributed through the federal government's testing program. So if you have one of those recalled kits, you should throw the whole thing away in the trash and do not pour the liquid down the drain. Alex is coming back with sports.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
To win multiple NASCAR championships, you gotta have the best support, including my arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
Are those arch supports still working for you, Joey?
Yeah, they're working great.
How's that back and knee pain doing?
It's all gone. And my balance is better.
Nice. And really nice.
Oh, well, this bad boy has over 700 horsepower from a fuel-injected 350 pushrod V8. Yes. Have you ever changed tires?
See how we can help you, too, with a free fitting.
At the Good Feet store.
Looking for some fun? Then come play for the day at the Coeur d'Alene Casino and discover new ways to win big inside the new Discovery Den, the first and only video game testing room in the U.S. with many of the top manufacturers in the world under one roof, where you get to play them first and decide which games stay and which ones don't. You will set the trends for the future of gaming, only at the Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Welcome home.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and often amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from their neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call the number on your screen to find out if you're a candidate for our neuropathy program that has changed thousands of lives. You don't have to spend another day suffering. Call us today and see if you qualify for the relief you deserve. Do not wait. Call now.
4 News Now is brought to you by Perfection Tire.
Well, for the first time in more than a week, the Seattle Kraken return to home ice tonight as they get ready for Game 3 against Dallas in their Round 2 series. And they're going to be looking to take control over the next couple of days. But it was Game 2 that the Stars exerted their will and evened up the series with a 4-2 win. Dallas outshooting Seattle by 10 and more than doubling up their face-off wins by a count of 44-20. Not exactly a recipe for success. And even though this Kraken team hasn't been together as long as other squads, their experience is what's helping them stay the course and a big reason why they even made it this far.
We had to be probably a little more nimble and, willing to evolve and change things as you figure out personnel. No matter what you see on paper and how much you think you know about people and players, you really don't until you start working together and you see what it looks like on the ice. So, I believe we've worked hard to evolve and continue to try to find the things that best suit our group. And
Game 3 coming up in just a little under 2 hours from Seattle, but despite the Kraken being back inside Climate Pledge Arena, they still enter this one as slight underdogs. And here in Spokane earlier this week, a couple of former Gonzaga Bulldogs found new homes. Guard Dominic Harris will be playing for one of the Zags conference rivals next season. The redshirt sophomore announcing he is committing to Loyola Marymount, the same team that ended the Zags' 75-game home winning streak earlier this season. Now, Harris just played 35 games in his entire Gonzaga career, averaging just 2 points a game. And center Efton Reed III announced he is signing with Wake Forest. Reed played some meaningful minutes in the non-conference portion of the schedule, but saw that play time drop dramatically in the second half of the season. Reed averaged just 2 points and 1 rebound a game. The former 5-star prospect will join fellow former Bulldog Hunter Salas, who also committed to the Demon Deacons last week. Now, tomorrow morning, thousands of people will descend upon downtown Spokane for the 47th running of Bloomsday. And for one athlete, her journey to the starting line began long before she began training. Our Julian Minnesone has more.
It works. 11-year-old Brooklyn Gossard will be one of the youngest competitors at Bloomsday.
It's my first one, so I want to do good.
Instead of running shoes, she uses a racing chair.
You have to kind of get used to leaning forward and not bobbing your head.
Ready? Go! Brooklyn is used to playing sports this way. It's all she's ever known.
I was 15 months old. I couldn't move my arms. My mom took me to hospital.
Doctors said Brooklyn had transverse myelitis. The nerves in her spine were damaged. She was paralyzed from the chest down.
It was a scary time for us, and we didn't
have the community that we do now, so we didn't know what the future looked like for her.
After countless hours of physical therapy, Brooklyn was able to move her arms, but in her heart, she still wanted to be a kid.
Watching other kids, what they don't have to struggle, but that makes me stronger.
Great job! A few years ago, Brooklyn and her family found Parasport Spokane, an adaptive sports program for athletes with disabilities.
Just seeing that there's a whole world of sports and nothing has really stopped her from, being who she really was meant to be.
Now no sport is impossible for Brooklyn.
I think you're gonna make it.
Not even Bloomsday.
If you set your mind to something and you stick with it, keep those goals, then you can do anything.
Now, Brooklyn has a lot of goals for her athletic career. She wants to compete in the Paralympics one day, but most of all, Brooklyn wants to be a role model for other athletes with disabilities. And she looks like she's doing a pretty good job so far. 4 News Now, we'll be right back.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
If you have a fear of missing out, you might want to start earning with a free Camas Rewards card because, dude, Camas Rewards at Northern Quest for all the ways you play.
Hey, did you lock in the ringer for the softball team yet? We really need to repeat as Kubota League champs.
Yeah, check this out.
What's up? 56. Is that Ben Gregg?
Yeah, he can hit, he can pitch, and he sold 3 tractors this morning.
Come to Adams Tractor and get your Kubota today. For new tractors, parts, and service, and with 5 locations, we are the Northwest's biggest and best Kubota dealer.
Known as a passionate artist, known for loving the outdoors, known for getting everyone together. No one wants to be known for cancer, but a treatment can be. Keytruda is known to treat cancer, FDA approved for 16 types of cancer, including certain early-stage cancers. One of those cancers is triple-negative breast cancer. Keytruda may be used with chemotherapy medicines as treatment before surgery, and then continued alone after surgery when you have early-stage breast cancer and are at high risk of it coming back.
Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, severe nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, fever, rash, itching or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems. If you've had or plan to have an organ or stem cell transplant, receive chest radiation, or have a nervous system problem.
Keytruda is an immunotherapy and is also being studied in hundreds of clinical trials exploring ways to treat even more types of cancer. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. See all the types of cancer Keytruda is known for at Keytruda.com and ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you.
At Northern Quest, we offer the lowest minimum bets and highest maximum bets because only you know if you're feeling lucky, valued guest. Northern Quest, yes, the best.
4 News Now is brought to you by A to Z Rentals.
LeBron chasing his 5th ring here tonight, guys. Score predictions?
I'm going to say Warriors take game 3. They're going to take control of the series. Warriors in 5.
What do you got to say, Matt?
I hope everyone has fun. Warriors are going to win the series.
Download the 4 News Now app today. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.